Wolf, a $1.5 trillion tax cut, a sweeping overhaul, hundreds of pages long of the entire U.S. tax system, and now we know exactly what's in it. If you look at the top line, Wolf, the Obamacare mandate, individual mandate, that is repealed. The corporate rate, it goes from 35% down to 21%, and that change would take effect in 2018. There are also cuts across the board on the individual side of things. Take a look at where they stand currently versus where they were going to be. Right now, there are 7 brackets. There will still be 7 brackets in the new bill, but if you walk through them with me, it's 10% will also stay 10%. The 15% bracket in current law drops to 12%. The 25% bracket, that drops to 22%. 28%, that drops to 24%. The 33% bracket, that drops to 32%. The 35% bracket stays the same, and the 39.6% top bracket drops to 37%. The income thresholds as to how you qualify for those brackets, those are also shifting as well. Obviously, very important on the individual side, but another key point when it comes to the individual rate cuts, they expire, they sunset at the end of 2025. That's for budget reasons. Republicans trying to actually pay for this plan based on the rules that they're working with. Now, I talked about the corporate side. It's also important for individuals when it comes to deductions. Now, Wolf, there were a lot of deductions that were on the chopping block throughout this entire process, a lot of deductions that the House actually ended up cutting altogether. I want to walk you through some of those that still exist. These are deductions that are in current law and will remain in current law when or if this bill is signed into law. Included the medical expense deduction. Obviously, a lot of people very concerned about that when that is in the House bill. That will remain. The tax-free graduate school tuition waivers, that remains. Student loan interest deduction, that remains. The teacher spending deduction, that remains. These were things that were very popular across the board. House Republicans tried to do away with them. They ended up failing in that endeavor. The reason why they wanted to do away with them to help pay for this bill, they ended up being too popular, and they will end up surviving. Wolf, you can also look at the state and local tax deduction. This was a key point throughout negotiations here. They wanted to repeal it entirely. They then compromised to allow for property tax deductions capped at $10,000. That has been expanded even further. Now you can also, with your property tax deduction, include one of 2 things: income tax deduction or sales tax deduction. So there's an expansion there that's important for high tax states like New Jersey, New York, and California. Where does this all leave Republicans? Obviously, there are a lot more details buried in here, and every industry has a lot to gain or lose by what the kind of fine print of this 500-plus page bill actually ends up in. Well, Republicans feel like they're in a very good place. Part of the reason, the change to the child tax credit. Wolf, that was at $1,000 in the current law. That was boosted up to $2,000 in the Senate version. That will be at that level in the current version. But one of the big fights back and forth was the refundability piece. Essentially, how much people could get from that tax credit post their income tax liability. So basically people that aren't making a lot of money, not very wealthy, lower income people that didn't make enough on the income tax side to be able to qualify for enough of that credit, that has been boosted upward from $1,100 to $1,400. Here's why that matters. That was enough to secure Senator Marco Rubio's vote. That was enough to make Senator Mike Lee very happy. He's still on the fence right now, but he's certainly said he is hopeful that he will get there.